Hello and welcome to another interesting episode of the Candid Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. Well, before we begin this conversation, we do a request that if you've not subscribed to our channel or if you're watching us for the first time, please do us this one favor. Simply subscribe to this channel so that whenever we upload any content, depending on what we are actually discussing in this country, then you'll be actually notified by YouTube, and therefore you'll be able to keep in touch with everything taking place in the country and outside. As usual, I'm here with the most sought after political analyst. Hi, Professor, how are you?
Fine, thank you. And also ask them to support us.
Definitely.
Some lady from America, and she said, you see, we want to support you. But here, she's a Kenyan.
Yes.
Here in America, people don't support you unless you ask. Because people fear. I can send you $10 and you insult me. Who told you I wanted? So we ask our followers, viewers, our fans to support us. Producing this content, as you know, is not easy. Running this YouTube channel with the young men here, we are trying to also to assist, require support. So we'll ask our viewers to chip in. M-Pesa or till number is there, just to help us.
And those details are there?
Yeah, they are there, yes.
Just within the description of our channel.
We really appreciate, and we thank those who are already supporting us.
Yes. Yeah. Now, let's get into the conversation straight away. I was actually a little bit surprised, though I do not want to go that direction per se, but then I saw some sort of peaceful demonstration the other day. A group of, they call themselves Pharma Scientists, biotechnologists, who are actually pro-GMO, and they were kind of demonstrating and kind of showing the support for the government for the kind of action that they took the other day. Do you believe like there was some sort of a push to what those guys were doing?
When something is new and it has promoters, the promoters don't just sit. They ensure it hits the ground, and they use all manner of tricks in the book. Including buying people to parade themselves as supporters. So I'm not saying these ones have, but that's how these things, when something is new, especially something that people have great reservation about, like this GMO, there will be people to promote it using all manner of means. So that could be one of them.
Okay. Well, let's leave that aside. Prof, we talked about some of these positions that are being created by the current regime to actually reward their political cronies, as you said it before. But then here we are. There is the position of Chief Administrative Secretary that was actually suspended by the court the other time because the members of the Law Society of Kenya went to court to challenge that kind of procedure, saying that, well, the Public Service Commission did not actually follow the due process in kind of implementing this. But then we saw the other day that suspension has been lifted by the court, and they've said now at least there is that green light for the government to go ahead and actually announce or rather advertise these positions. And I went to Twitter and I saw Millicent Omanga. You remember she vied for the position of women rep in Nairobi County unsuccessfully, but she was there saying, wow, here it is, it's timely. And so kind of let me get your thoughts on this position of the Chief Administrative Secretary and whether it's relevant to us in this country.
Let's begin with the courts. The courts in this country must know we are poor, dirty, third world country. When we must save time and the resources, let the courts not bother about jurisprudence. After all, there's not much that's coming from them. If all that was needed was for the Public Service Commission to do what was required, nobody was stopping the president from appointing those assistant ministers. That what was required was the public service to do it, to initiate the process. Why didn't the court just do that in 1 hour? The courts must move in that direction. We are a poor country that does not have money and the time to waste.
But they had to take time to listen.
To do what? Listen to what?
To all those complaints.
There are some things that go to court that require just telling the people, this comes to an end now. Let the president or the other authority implicated just correct the wrong. That is all. Bring back here the case if the president refuses to correct the wrong. That's all. Why do you need to take a year, 2, 3 years? This country cannot go in that direction. And I'm asking the judiciary. This is a poor, dirty third world country where people are dying from preventable diseases like diarrhea. Imagine people dying from diarrhea and the courts are taking years to do something like somebody has a certificate forged. You just tell Dani Mweshimiwa, hii certificate umeiba. Can you go home? Go to school and read. Please don't waste the court's time. Our courts cannot have the luxury of American courts in the name of jurisprudence. No.
But yeah,
So that's one about the court. Number two, the question of how large a government can be is debatable. In America, that's a very serious debate. One side says there should be less government. The other side says there should be as big a government as it will take to serve the American people. So if we in Kenya, if Uhuru and now Ruto feel you need to have an expanded executive to serve the people of Kenya, there's nothing wrong with that. Let them have it. You know, at Bomas of Kenya, people said, toa hiki to your assistant minister. It serves no purpose. It is consuming resources, and yet there's nothing an assistant minister does. So Uhuru comes back cleverly and gives us CAS, Chief Administrative Assistant. But we know it's assistant minister. But the people in broad daylight, the national, a convention of Kenyans sitting at Bomas said, no, hii ni ujinga. Then Uhuru sneaks it back. And now Ruto wants to use it. There's nothing wrong. Let them use it. So my take is, if they are sincere, they want to serve the people of Kenya, and they think they need a bloated executive more than provided for, so long as they are going to use it to serve people of Kenya, fine. But let me say this. I would wholeheartedly support this assistant something or a CAS. Why? This is the job Uhuru would have given to some of the people he has put in cabinet. Hii ndio kazi yao, because these are busybodies. They do nothing. Just put on nice suits, nice dresses, hang around the ministry. Once in a while be given a speech to go and read. you see? Go and read on behalf of the minister. You know? Go and cut red tape, open a building, something, or launch something. There's nothing they do. The people currently in the cabinet, a good number of them, I would want to say all of them, but let me spare one or two who I know are capable. Almost at least. They would have been made Chief Administrative Assistant, CAS. So that the position they are holding at cabinet would have been held by Kenyans who can help the president run this country through these turbulent times. That's all I can say about it. Use it, they would have used these positions to reward. Because you must reward. Even in America, the president, when he wins, you have people to reward. That's how politics works. The people who helped you. Si lazima wapate kitu kidogo. Yeah, mara mautumwa ile walikuwa natumwa hapa na pale. Yeah, the others who financed the election, they must be rewarded.
So therefore, what then is the purpose of these positions? Because actually, it's logic that are we going to talk about rewarding cronies and people?
It happens. Reward is
or are we going to focus on building the economy? Because, Prof, you cannot tell me that these positions are almost 52 in number. How are these people going to how is even their salary package going to be?
I am telling you, you can have as big a government as you need to have, so long as it is serving the people of Kenya. I've also told you, I would have been very happy if the president would have reserved these positions for these people who are in cabinet. They would have been made very good CAS, assistant ministers, so that now those positions of cabinet, there will be Kenyans there, men and women, who can help this country during these harsh times. These are very challenging times. The level of thinking required, not many people in cabinet can engage in that. But I have nothing against them. Please forgive me if you are watching. If you are a minister, I have nothing against you. Some of you are my friends and you know. But you don't have the capacity to think for this country at a time like this.
And you think the chief administrative secretaries will...
That is a dumping place. That's for reward. Hiyo ni sawa. But how are your reward? Chief assistant, nini? Hiyo haina kazi.
Oh, so what you're trying to say in essence is that the president would have taken those whom he is with in the cabinet right now and given him
this for them, for reward.
And then for reward.
Some of them finance this campaign. Some of them risk. They risk elections, because by standing in areas where they would have won if they are in ODM, they stand with him UDA and they lost. You know, it rewarded them. It works. Every reward is something that is practiced across the world. But don't reward them with a position that will determine the future of this country. Don't give somebody a position which will make this country fail to sail through these hard times. Peleka mali ya kulala usingizi. Yeah.
So the likes of Moses Kuria should have been
How are you category chief of administration? What? I have a problem even identifying one. I must leave 2, 3 so that somebody thinks he's one of the 3. But there's maybe nobody.
In short, you're saying, well, you agree with a majority of Kenyans that these positions are as useless as
yes.
anything else.
But for pragmatic purposes.
Yes, if they were to be used politically,
yes.
For perhaps the regime to actually show some sort of gratitude towards those who helped them, then the guys in the cabinet should fit there right now.
Yes.
Okay, now, Prof, but then I'm
these ministers, the ones we have, cabinet secretaries, they will make very good assistant ministers. You call them what? Chief Administrative Secretary. They would make very good. I close your eyes and see them. You can see that one. Angalia huyo, angalia. Very good cast, but not a minister.
Because
a minister, when this country is going through what is going through, must be the best you can get. A man or woman who can think through a problem. If you give somebody an agriculture docket, they must be able to sit down with you as the president and tell you, these are the strategies to ensure 2 years from now, this country will be exporting food. Not importing, exporting.
Why do you think the government would be so much kind of hell-bent in burdening the taxpayers?
Because many people who get into power completely get out of touch with reality. Completely.
And that's what happens.
It's human nature. There are very few people who, despite getting to power, remain themselves. Let me give you an example. My friend John calls them small examples. You are having a very good teacher. Very good teacher. He knows the suffering of people, make him a principal. He behaves as if he has forgotten that getting fees is a problem. Taking a child, he has forgotten. Immediately. He can't remember that Kenyans have a problem with fees and with small things. So when you become president, the temptation to forget the reality is the first day, even before you are sworn in, you have completely lost touch with the reality. You become president and forget that this country is bleeding, this country is hurting. That if you live in Nairobi, if you are the governor, over 80% of people in Nairobi cannot access piped water, cannot access a toilet. Shameful. The world is laughing at us. That there's a country in the 21st century where people live, thousands of them in one place without sewage, without nothing, without water, without even a pit latrine. They use flying toilets. And you put on a suit, you say you are governor, you are a president. People are laughing at you. They can't tell you because they exploit you. They need to pamper you and laugh with you, but they know you are an idiot. Yeah. How can you be living in a country with such a levels of poverty and you are spending money anyhow? You see? That's why people laugh at us, Africans. And people have been saying over years, there's something genetically, inherently wrong with Africa. I don't believe such a nonsense. No race in the world has produced greater knowledge than the black race. None in the known world. The greatest civilization in the world is a black civilization. So it is not true that genetically, inherently, there's something wrong with, like my friend Francis would say, something wrong with black people. No. It is our leaders who make us become the laughing stock of the world because they wonder, how would you have these problems in your country and you go on a spending spree? If somebody were to have some drone technology, using drone, the Kenyan delegation of ministers, what they are in, say they are going to Italy or Dubai, drone can is it called a drone or what is it called? Those drone, my friend. You laugh. They go into prostitution, into shopping, anything but what took them there. Those are your leaders. They're useless people. So why are you asking me why they should be spending money when they know the country needs money? Because they are useless people. They don't care about the country. Just if you had the capacity to capture Kenyan delegations outside the country and the things they engage in, top on the list, shopping.
Now, be it as it may, Prof, if at all these positions are to be created and the government, obviously they will go ahead and do what they think is right according to them. And your gaze is as right as mine on whatever the names that will actually be included there. And I'm kind of looking at this. Could we now see some sort of a sudden shift by the government now that he said that this government actually belongs to Mama Mboga and the or are we going to see the same guys here? I'm really wondering, when you know, like the Mama Mbogas are still waiting for any kind of appointment to be
Their chance will come one day. Their chance will come.
The chance will come. They should
But,
just trust the
if a man can get the kind of people we have in the cabinet and appoint the principal secretaries in the manner they are appointed them, terminate people's contracts in the parastatals and install the kind of people that are being installed, do you still expect much when it comes to appointment of this cast? It will be the same trend. Yeah. The same fellows who will fill those positions.
There are a number of people who seem to think that every position that is being filled in this country right now is geared towards politically preparing for 2027 elections. Would that be right?
Everybody thinks so. I mean, many people think so. Many people think so.
And yet, the government as well says, I remember President Ruto.
Yet, I thought you want to say, yet, no president would have had it as easy as Ruto would have had at a re-election.
And definitely, why does
you know why?
To be what?
Ruto takes over government at a time the country is almost at its lowest in terms of the economy, in terms of the cost of living. All that Ruto needed to do is not to rush to Northeastern to get those MPs to defect from Azimio. No, not to receive Jubilee at State House or Luos at State House. No, just do the right thing for Kenyans. Because when the differences are so real, so black and whitish, you only need to do and everybody sees. Just look at the price of unga. I say, these shenanigans, I know what I can do to make unga 80 or 90 shillings and do it. I know why petrol is 180 shillings. Government has so many taxes and levies there which are being to be eaten by people. Remove them. And the petrol becomes 90 or shillings or 110. If anybody talked against you, people will beat him up.
But instead of doing
when it is so easy, you know, sometimes the difference between what is and what should is not very, very great. So even if you do, nobody can notice. But in this instance, things are so bad that if the president just did what he needs to do, he can even call the bluff of the entire parliament. Awambia hii CDF hakuna ngo. The people of Kenya are suffering and you want money to go and eat. I'm not giving you. And there are no allowances. Tell SRC, put your foot down. You said these people should not get allowances. You are given a salary to be an MP and you want to be paid when you go to parliament for sitting allowance. The president, like the president of Botswana, I think did, tell them no, go to hell. There's no money for you MPs. Mutosheke na mshahara yenu. And we are starting a national conversation to reduce your salaries to 200,000 per month with no allowances, including mine. If the president did for Kenyans what he ought to do, it will be so clear that he has the love of this country, the people of this country at heart. He can govern alone without the support of parliament.
Okay, now.
Because if he takes that law, a bill to parliament, in the interest of Kenyans, and the parliament refuses unless you give a CDF, the people will go there and tell them,
I'm wondering yes. How possible whatever you're saying is actually, because
yes.
You know, I kind of try to imagine the kind of finances that go into campaigning, and I actually try to imagine with our current president, that is Herman Ruto. He began campaigning all the way in 2018.
Yes.
throughout that period. And the MP started just the other day, and I heard Jalango was saying that he had a budget of around 40 million.
Yes.
So I was wondering, he started campaigning the other day. Well, somebody started in 2018,
Yes,
all
yes.
the way for 5 years he's been campaigning.
Yes.
How much did this person spend, and how do you expect this person to recover the money when you decide to give him a salary of 200,000 alone?
You know,
and then you also scrap off CDF from the person.
Let me tell you something. It does not matter what ideas you have, however grand, like Raila has grand ideas, until you get power, those ideas will remain with you in your head, in your dreams. So you must first of all capture state power to implement the vision you have. You get it? So supposing the president had some vision for this country,
Why do you say
he could have spent, because I haven't seen. He could have spent his own money, his own fortune. He could have been sponsored by people. But now that he has state power, he said, Jamani, I wanted this power to make this country different. Please bear with me. Just bear with me.
Even if it would mean I'm serving for just a single term.
A single term. And you cannot do one term. The problem you will have is how to convince people that after 10 years you should go. That will be the biggest problem you'll have. Not winning in 2027. If you did for the people of Kenya what they want, including telling off these greedy MPs, reducing the cost of living for Kenyans, not listening to IMF, 2027 is nothing. The problem is 2032. People will ask you, where are you going? Let us change the constitution and you continue. Yeah. But these shortcuts will not help anybody.
Finally, as we wind up this conversation, I saw a certain letter by the senator for, Lamu. Actually, that was a letter addressed to the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, that is SRC?
SRC, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Tabulating those who should actually work under him, the driver, the secretary and everything. And that was amounting to almost 800,000. It was around 850,000 salaries of all those who are supposed to be working under that minister alone, Prof. So I'm wondering, this is not even under that minister, but under the senator alone. So those people who are assisting the senator, their salary amounts to over 800,000 without any allowance. That is, this is a single senator. We've not even touched on the salary of the senator. And then here we are as a country, still we want to add these 52 CAS who are coming on board, and definitely they will come on board with those people will be working under them as well. So I'm wondering, where are we like? And you also talk about the top 1,000. I hear you mention here, if you look at top 1,000, of course the MPs are there, the senators are there, the governors are there, and all these people have such kind of huge and bloated expenditure. How are we going to operate? We haven't even paid people's loans, and here we are lamenting left, right, and center the way the cost of life
show
is so
me
high.
Show me an extravagant person, and I will show you a foolish, poor person. Poverty goes hand in hand with certain practices. Yes. Poor people are wasteful. Even at a social level. When in the village people have harvested, I come from a place where those who have harvested so much could get half a sack or a sack. That day, that month, if you go in the compound, ugali saisi, umbwa inakimbia na ugali, kuku zina, you just cook ugali for 50 people and you are 2 people in the house. A month later, they can hardly afford porridge. That is characteristic of poor people. But then we understand when it's an individual, not an individual. But a country, the leaders of a country can't see that this wastage will bring this country down. And Obama said it. The foolish things you are doing, driving these big cars, people know you have stolen this money. But you are courting a disaster. You are courting a revolution. It's what Manyora saying. So they make the situation so bad that there is no other way you can sort out the problem we are creating other than a revolution. If you look at revolutions, if you look at the opulence, if you look at the excesses of kings that courted the revolutions, and you see it happening here, you wonder, Are you telling me all these leaders never went to school? They never read about the French Revolution and other revolutions in the world? Are you telling me they don't know? But again, we are told that this is Greek mythology, that when the gods want to destroy you, they first make you mad, so that you can't see very obvious things. A country like this should go into saving. You save what you can save. Because you cannot be parading this kind of opulence, this kind of extravagance in a country where, by your own statistics, these are statistics from government and World Bank, almost half the population lives on less than $1, and that is the time when $1 was 100 shillings per day. And where one packet of maize flour, the staple food for this country, is 200 shillings. In other words, the income of one day can only buy one meal in 2 days. That is the country you live in. A country where the statistics from government show the obscene levels of unemployment. Access to healthcare is a dream. In that country, you tell me Parliament can engage in that kind of extravagance? Theft of public property? Tell me what can bring a revolution more than that. How? What else can bring a revolution more than that? In fact, we are in a country where Parliament right now should have abolished the Parliamentary Service Commission, but before doing that, just have a salary of 200,000 so that the people who go to Parliament go there to serve, not for money. So long as people go to Parliament to make money, we will never get leaders there. We will get the clowns who are there. We'll get the fellows you see there. Those useless people you see in Parliament. Because Parliament is an opportunity to make money. But if we just give them enough to survive, only those who want to serve the country will be there. And this country in 20 years will be a first world country. But so long as those are the people who are leading this country, we will remain what we are. We'll actually go backwards. You get it? When I was growing up, I was told water for all by the year 1980. Water for piped water in every home in the country.
That was 1980?
1980. That was the target for the country.
40 years down the line.
How many years are these?
40 years down the line.
Are we there? If an MP is fighting to get money for servants, for cooks, watchmen, ward driver, name them, and they can see Kibra here, people live here, they don't have water. They don't have toilets. People live in a room of 10 by 10, a family of 5.
And the senator's PA is earning 200,000.
And the senator's PA is earning money. They have a driver or two. They have a watchman. They have what? And they're asking for more. And you tell me there will be no revolution in this country? How?
Well, you tell me there will be no revolution in this country. Well, that is what Professor Herman Manyora is saying. But we are also hoping that our leaders are actually watching this thing so that we cannot be talking here and then perhaps they are not listening or paying keen attention to what Kenyans are speaking. Because definitely what we say here is what is in the heart and the minds of sensible Kenyans who are outside there and looking at what is actually taking place in this country. And definitely we do pray that this come 2027, when they go to the polls, they'll make decisions based on the policies that they've seen been implemented and that serves the interest best. Please do not fail to tune into some of our programs that will be coming in here next. Of course, Jerry Kabiro with these political conversations and Richard Mwenje with Siasa Brigade and Business Glide. And I'm also here. And of course, we have Professor talking on the other end on Let's Talk Love with Waris Kimathi. Ladies and gentlemen, all this is brought to you by Nairobi Review. Till we have this conversation again, have yourself a very lovely day. My name is Evans Okinyi.